Last night, you had 4 dreams. Your brain hunted down every one of them and destroyed them. On purpose. Right now, lying in the fog of just having woken up, you remember almost nothing. Maybe a face. Maybe a feeling of falling. And you assume that's your brain being lazy, glitchy, tired. It isn't. That erasure is not a bug. It's a nightly demolition your brain scheduled, planned, and carried out while you slept. And it does it to you every single night of your life. Here's what actually happened in the dark. You didn't have 1 dream. You had 4, maybe 6. Stitched together, that's up to 2 hours of vivid, full-color footage. Characters, dialogue, whole invented worlds you genuinely lived inside. And within 10 minutes of your eyes opening, 90% of it is gone. Not fading, gone. Overwritten so completely you can't even prove it existed. So sit with the strange part. You were awake inside 2 hours of experience. Why can't you keep even 10 minutes of it? You'd never forget 2 hours of a movie you watched last night, but 2 hours of a movie you starred in? Erased before breakfast. Something doesn't add up, and the answer is far stranger than you think. Because your brain is not failing to save the dream. Your brain is actively refusing to. Let me show you the machine. Somewhere in the center of your head sits a small, curled structure called the hippocampus. Think of it as your brain's save button, the file writer. When something happens to you while you're awake, the hippocampus is what grabs that moment and burns it onto the disk so you can find it again tomorrow. Every memory you own passed through that little gate. Now here's the reveal. During REM sleep, the stage where your wildest dreams play, that save button is partially switched off. The movie is running at full volume, sound, image, emotion, terror, joy. But the recorder is unplugged. The screen is lit and nobody is pressing record. Your dreams aren't being lost after the fact. They were never being written down in the first place. And it gets more deliberate than that, because a single unplugged recorder could be an accident. This isn't an accident. There's a second lock on the door. Meet a chemical called noradrenaline. In plain English, think of it as glue, the stuff that fixes a memory in place so it doesn't slide off. When you're wide awake and something shocking happens, noradrenaline floods your brain and practically laminates that moment into permanence. That's why you remember exactly where you were during the worst news of your life. Glue everywhere. Now guess when that glue hits its lowest level of the entire 24-hour cycle. The exact moment you dream. During REM, noradrenaline bottoms out. The tank runs nearly dry. So the experience is 100% real to you as you live it. But there is nothing holding it to the wall. The images pour in and slide straight off because your brain deliberately drained the one substance that would have kept them. So think about what that means. 2 systems, the recorder and the glue, both switched off at the same time every night on a schedule. That's not a machine breaking down. That's a machine following orders. Which raises the only question that matters: who decided to run it this way, and why? Enter the scientists who caught it happening. At Harvard, a sleep researcher named Robert Stickgold spent years watching the sleeping brain and found something almost eerie. Memory and dreaming don't just happen to overlap poorly. They run on opposite switches. When the dreaming circuits flip on, the memory-saving circuits flip off. It's not bad luck. It's wiring. The brain was built so that the more intensely you dream, the less you're able to keep it. Then go back to 1983, to the man who co-discovered the structure of DNA. Francis Crick dropped a bombshell theory that people are still arguing about. He said dreams aren't messages. They aren't prophecy. They're reverse learning. His idea was that all day your brain soaks up junk, random connections, useless patterns, noise. And at night it runs the tape backward specifically to find that garbage and unlearn it. To scrub the clutter out, decode that into one plain image, and it's almost funny. Your brain every night is taking out the trash. The dreams are the bags going down to the curb. And you're just watching the sanitation crew work, mistaking it for a movie, which is where this whole thing flips on you. Because you've been feeling sorry for yourself this entire time. Poor me, I can never remember my dreams. But forgetting your dreams isn't the failure. Forgetting is the feature. That's the twist. The deletion is the entire point. Imagine the alternative. Imagine you woke up and every dream stuck. Fully saved, permanent, indistinguishable from real life. You'd walk into the kitchen genuinely unsure whether you actually argued with your sister yesterday or whether your brain just invented it at 3 a.m. You'd remember conversations that never happened, places that don't exist. Every morning, your grip on what's real would loosen a little more. The people who most struggle to separate memory from imagination are living something close to that nightmare, and it is not peaceful. So picture the whole night as a server running maintenance while you're logged out. During the day, you generate thousands of messy logs. Overnight, the system replays them, keeps the patterns worth keeping, a skill you practiced, a lesson that mattered, and then it deletes the raw footage. The dreams are those logs being purged so the fakes never contaminate the real ones. The thing that felt like horror, my brain destroys my dreams, is actually the thing keeping you anchored to reality. The deletion is what keeps you sane. But then why do a few survive? Why do you sometimes wake clutching one vivid scene that refuses to leave? Here's the beautiful accident. You woke up in the middle of REM. The trash truck was still on the street. And for one flickering second, that unplugged recorder got plugged back in. The save button pressed by mistake right as you surfaced. You grabbed one file before it hit the curb. That's the entire secret behind dream journals. People who write their dreams down the instant they wake aren't better dreamers. They're just faster than the cleanup. They lunge for the file in that tiny window before the system finishes wiping the disk. Everyone else, you, most mornings, sleeps 3 minutes too long. And it's already gone. So that blank you feel right now, staring at the ceiling, grasping at a dream that's already dissolving, that emptiness isn't your brain letting you down. It's the receipt. It's proof. The system ran perfectly last night, swept the floor, took out the trash, protected your grip on what's real, and clocked out before you woke. And tonight it happens again. You'll live through 4 more. You'll feel everything. The fear, the flying, the faces of people who don't exist. And you'll lose all of it by breakfast. Your brain will delete last night's dreams on purpose, the same way it always has. And the fact that you will never, ever know what they were might just be the single most important thing it does for you. So here's my question for you. Out of every dream your brain ever came for, what's the one that somehow survived the delete? The one you still remember? Tell me the scene. Someone reading this needs to know they're not the only one who kept it.